Hello there, amazing viewers and subscribers. Welcome to a brand new exciting Doctor Who collection video for today. So for this video, I'm going to be showing you basically a part of my Doctor Who collection. Now, I have done videos basically showing you my DVD collection, my VHS collection, my Blu-ray collection, my Target book collection, my Big Finish collection, my figure collection. So, and I do have quite a lot of Doctor Who collections going on in my set because I not only just have those, I have Doctor Who novelisation BBC books, and then of course I've got other books as well. So for this video I'm going to show you my Doctor Who BBC novelisation books collection. So I don't have any stories basically from the 1st to the 6th Doctors, but I have one 7th Doctor, and then of course we go into the 8th, and then of course we go into the modern era of the show. So I'm going to show you what Doctor Who BBC books I own in my collection, and then basically what I've read and what ones I haven't read, because I've been collecting these for quite a while. I have read a few of these growing up, but then I forgot to... I have been meaning to do reviews on these stories. Now, basically, I have done reviews on the Target book sets, I've done reviews on Big Finish. I was thinking of doing basic reviews on these, on the BBC novelisation books, so I didn't really think that would go down well. So if you are interested in reviews in these books, then let me know in the comment section down below if you would love to see reviews on these. So I have got quite a few Doctor Who BBC novelisation books. Now, there is one book I am actually trying to get my hands on, which is called The Enemy Within. And of course, it is a 3rd Doctor unit and the Master story, aka another sci-fi guy not long did a review on this story. And I absolutely loved his review. Now, I haven't commented on his video on the review because I haven't read the book myself. And I do really want to try and get into it because the way he describes the events, what happens in that story, in that novelisation book, makes me really just want to read it. And I really do want to read it. So without further ado, let's dive into my Doctor Who collection of the BBC novelisation books. So book number 1 is, of course, Storm Harvest. Now, this is a 7th Doctor book, and I have to be 100% with you. I did pay £4 for it in a charity shop. I haven't read this one yet. I've only not long picked it up over a month ago, and I haven't read it yet. So, because I'm currently in the middle of reading a Target book, aka the Highlanders, which I'm absolutely loving that Target book. So after I finish reading my Target book, I will go straight into this book and give it a pretty good read, even though I've got a lot of Target books I still need to read myself. So yeah, I got Storm Harvest, which is a 7th Doctor book, which is why I got it. Now, I love that image of McCoy. And of course, his outfit is from season 26. And the fact that I haven't read this one yet is because it takes place after another book called The Matrix. And I still need to give it a good read and basically see what I think of it. And if I enjoy it, if I do not enjoy it, I do not know. But yeah, I do kind of want to get The Matrix so I can actually give it a read before I read this one. So yeah, I do have that one. And then, of course, diving into the 8th Doctor books. So we have got the Bono Legacy. Haven't read this one yet either. I literally picked this up on Vinted about a week ago. And it not long arrived in the post. I did forget to do my unboxing video for it. But yeah, look at that imagery of the skull. It looks absolutely perfect, doesn't it? And you've got Doctor Who. I really love the TV movie logo. It really gives me Pertwee vibes. So I do have that one. Then, of course, we have Hope. And of course, this is another 8th Doctor book, which is a fantastic story. I have read this one. I have already written down my notes for my review on it. I was going to do my review on it, but again, I didn't think people would be interested because I didn't want to bore people. So if you are interested in reviews in these BBC novelisation books, then let me know in the comments. So yeah, because I do want to do my review on this story. And then, of course, we have another 8th Doctor book, which is called Vanishing Point. I haven't read this one yet. I picked this up in a fantastic second-hand bookshop in Book and Collectibles in Shrewsbury. I do want to go back at some point and pick up some more of the actual novelisation books of the BBC range. Then, of course, we have Ether of Wasps. I have read this one. I picked this up in a charity shop in Birmingham, believe it or not. I was around Birmingham and I picked it up a couple of months ago. And I actually quite enjoy it. Ethers of Wasps. So it is a good, interesting 8th Doctor book. I actually quite enjoyed it and absolutely loved it. I remember reading it and giving it such a good, positive feedback on it. It's actually on my laptop, my review on it. Then, of course, we have my last 8th Doctor book in the range and the last classic Doctor Who book, Doctor Who War of the Daleks. So this actually takes place after Remembrance of the Daleks for the Daleks timeline. And, of course, this is actually the very first Dalek story to be published in the BBC range because of you know, because of basically the last televised story of the Daleks was, of course, Remembrance of Daleks. The Eighth Doctor has a new companion named Sam, so it is a bit hard to try and place this in the Eighth Doctor's timeline. Because when the books, you got the Eighth Doctor travelling on his own, you can actually put that in between the TV movie and, of course, Storm Warning. So I do kind of put it in between those. But I don't know where to put, basically, the Eighth Doctor and Sam adventures. I don't know if I should put that after Charlie and just before he meets our fantastic companion known as Lucy Miller. But there again, the Eighth Doctor does encounter the Daleks with Charlie. So yeah, I don't know where to put this in the Eighth Doctor's timeline. I really don't. I don't know if I should put this just before he meets Charlie. I'm not 100% sure, but I have read it. It is a great story. It also, I love the fact how they find Davros in the escape pod that we see Davros leave in Remembrance of the Daleks, where basically you see him activating the escape pod, and then of course he literally drops down when the Hand of Omega basically goes and destroys the Dalek ship. Then diving into modern Who. So some of these books I have read for a while. I have read way long ago, back when I was a kid, but I need to give these a reread and basically do my review on these. I need to give these a read and basically what I think of them. So for the Ninth Doctor, we have The Clockwise Man. I actually quite enjoy the story set in 1900s, well, basically the early 1900s, because the story itself is set in the 1920s London, and the Doctor and Rose are trying to find this mysterious group of killers. I actually quite enjoyed the story growing up. I need to give it I need to give it another read. I really do need to give it a read. Which is one of the things that is on the list next. Then of course we have, as we all know, Winter Takes All. Again, fantastic story. This is the Ninth Doctor and Rose. Now, for the Ninth Doctor Adventures on the BBC novelisation books, there are 3 books for the Ninth Doctor with just Rose as a companion, so which is set somewhere in between Series 1, aka in between Rose and basically just before The Long Game, because the last 3 books for the Ninth Doctor, we have them travelling with Captain Jack, which means you can take place after the Doctor dances and up to Boom Tomb, or you can actually place it around the events of there. But Winter Takes It All, I actually quite enjoy the story, absolutely brilliant, and it really is a modern day story. You do feel the modern day story, it's absolutely brilliant. And Jacqueline Riser is a really great Doctor Who writer. And then, of course, we have another book, aka for the Ninth Doctor, The Monster Within. The Monster Inside, sorry. Written by Stephen Cole. Now, Stephen Cole has written some great Big Finish stories for the classic Doctors. So it's actually quite nice to see him literally write books for the modern Doctors as well. I absolutely love this book. It is a great story. Fantastic. And it's set on a planet, not any other planet like we see on Earth. It's really quite nice to have the Ninth Doctor on an alien planet instead of just basically modern day Earth. Now, modern day Earth, I do get a little bit boring with, or find it a little bit boring in the classic, mainly in the modern era of the show, mainly from Series 1 up to 10, because that's mainly set on the modern era. You don't see any alien planets. So it's actually quite nice to have the Ninth Doctor on an alien planet. It really is such a great event. And then, of course, we have a paperback one, Only the Human. And this story is basically the first time they actually have Captain Jack in the title. So I think this takes place in between The Empty Child, The Doctor Dances, and, of course, Boom Tomb. So it's literally, you can actually split it into the Ninth Doctor's timeline, aka canon-wise, in between those stories. Haven't read it, but I do need to give it a good read. Then, of course, we have the Devastation System with Captain Jack, and you can actually say this takes place in between Boom Tomb and Bad Wolf and Partner of the Ways. Haven't read that one for a while. I need to give it a read. And then the last Ninth Doctor book is the Stale Drums, and of course this is the Ninth Doctor with Rose and Captain Jack. Again, you can actually say this takes place after the events of this and just before we get to Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. So yeah, I still need to give them a read. And then, of course, jumping into the 10th Doctor's timeline with the BBC novelisation books with Stone Rose. And, of course, this is the very first book for the 10th Doctor and Rose. And, of course, it is set on an alien planet. And, of course, it also has them travelling with Mickey as well. Because Mickey is startled to find a statue of Rose in a museum. A statue that is 2,000 years old. The Doctor realises that this means the TARDIS will shortly take them to ancient Rome. But when it does, him and Rose soon have more on their minds than the sculpture. So this is a fantastic story set in basically, as we all know, the timey-wimey events of the Doctor. You know, you can literally see something that happens in an event, and then of course the TARDIS goes there anyway, and it basically does lead into that event. I actually quite enjoyed this story because I actually did enjoy Stone Rose back as a child. It was a good book. And not many lovey, from what I can remember on it, there's not many lovey-dovey stuff in it between Ken and Rose, like you do have in Series 2. And then, of course, the next one we have The Feast of the Drowned. I haven't read this one for a while. I mean, last time I actually read this was back in 2007, 2008, back in school. So I do need to give this one a revisit because I've not long got this one. So I do have Feast of the Drowned. And then, of course, continuing with the 9th Doctor, well, sorry, with the 10th Doctor and Rose, we have The Resurrection Casket. I love that artwork. Look how that is. A pirate ship in space with the 10th Doctor and Rose. I really do need to give this one a good read. I really do. And then, of course, we have the Art of Destruction, where the TARDIS materializes in Africa in the 22nd century. It's such a good story. I do remember enjoying this one quite a bit. I need to give it a good read again. And it's written by Stephen Cole, who's one of my favourite Doctor Who writers, because I really think he does capture the Doctor and Rose quite well, specifically with the 9th Doctor or with the 10th Doctor. And then, of course, we have the Nightmare of Black Island. Is it Black Island? Yeah, Black Island. I need to give this one a read. I haven't read this one before. I only picked this up in a charity shop not long ago, thinking I have read it, and it turns out I haven't. So I need to give it a decent read. I really do need to give it a read at some point. And then, of course, we have the last 10th Doctor and Rose book in my collection, which is Paradise of Pleasure. The Piece of Paradise. Haven't read this one for quite a while. I have had this for ages in my collection. This was honestly my first ever book I got for Doctor Who for the Modern Era, because I actually got this off my granddad for Christmas around about 2014, 2015, and I was back in college, and I remember opening it up off him and me nan. I still need to give it another read. I do remember I did quite enjoy it. And then, of course, jumping into the 10th Doctor and Martha books now with Sting of the Saigons. Now, classic Doctor Who monster with my least favourite modern Doctor. What can I say about the book? I actually quite enjoyed it. I really thought when they were going to do Day of the Doctor and we saw the 10th Doctor with the Saigons, I really thought it would have taken place round about this one, because I was hoping we had Freema Yeager come back. But no. So basically, this is the 10th Doctor's first encounter with the Saigons before we get to Day of the Doctor. And I haven't read this one for quite a while. I still need to give it another good read. I think I did enjoy it when I read it ages ago, because I've had this one for ages. I did quite remember enjoying the book. So yeah, I do have Sting of the Saigons. I love that artwork as well. Look at that. The TARDIS in the middle of a field. You got a Zygon. It looks like Broton. It does look like they've literally just took a picture of Broton and just put it on the cover. I need to give it a read, Sting of the Saigons. I think it's a good story, so from what I remember. Next, of course, is Wishing Well. Haven't read this one, and of course, it does take place around about Series 3. Now, there are a load of books with the 10th Doctor and Martha in my collection that takes place around about Series 3. So, I do think they had quite a lot of adventures that we do not see on screen, and I do class these as part as the canon. I do class these as canon. So, you have Wishing Well. Then, of course, we have Wooden Heart next for basically the Doctor and Martha. I haven't read this one yet. I still need to. Then, of course, we have Peacemaker. Again, I did enjoy this book when I read it for the very first time back in me early teenagers. I haven't read it since. Still need to. I honestly think I still need to give it a decent read. I'm not 100% sure if I enjoyed it. I can't remember. I did kind of get Gunfighter vibes off it back then, but yeah, I can't really say more than that. Then, of course, the next one we have is Snow Globe 7. Haven't read this one yet. I've not long got this, only a couple of months ago. I still need to give it a read, because there's a load of 10th Doctor books I haven't read that I still need to read in the collection. Then, of course, we have The Last Dodo. Read this one back when I first got it. Didn't quite enjoy it, so I need to give it another read and see what I think of it. My opinions on these might change for the ones I've already read. And then, of course, we have The Pirate Loop. I haven't read this one. I'm so sorry to say that, I haven't really read this one. I think I need to give it a decent read. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I think I need to give it a read. If I have or not. I can't remember. Half of these are books I've had for quite a while, and I can't remember if I have read them. Sick Building. No, I haven't read this one yet. I've not long picked this up, only from the charity shop. So yeah, I still need to give it a decent read and see what my thoughts on it. I really want to read the books I haven't read and basically review them for you all. Next, of course, is The Many Hands. And this gives me Weeping Angel vibes by that artwork. I did read this because I had this one since I was a kid. Around about 2008, 2009. I did enjoy reading it basically back then, but I haven't read it since because I've dived more into the Target books mainly. Because I love the Target books adaptations more than the actual BBC novelizations. I love the Target books, they're so great. Next one is, of course, Man of Steel. The 10th Doctor and Martha encounter a Cyberman. So this takes place after the events of Doomsday. So it is actually quite nice to have the 10th Doctor and Martha encounter Cybermen. Haven't really read it for quite a while. I did used to have this one. This was actually a goodbye present from one of my favourite teachers back at school. I think it was Mr. Monday. He literally gave me this as a goodbye present for when I finished in year 11. Because he knew how much I love Doctor Who. And then, of course, I have another quick reader's book, Revenge of the To-Do. I haven't read this one for quite a while, so I still need to give it a decent read and see what I think of it. And I think that is actually my last Martha Jones book. Because now we are diving into Donna Noble. So now we're diving into books from Series 4. And it's called, basically, Shining Darkness. I have read this one because I had this one for quite a while. Need to give it a decent read again. I need to really put these on display. I really should take the figures off here and basically put these in front of the DVDs because I absolutely do want to give these a read. So yeah, I do have Shining Darkness, and that gives me Cyberman vibes again. It's not Cyberman. I can't remember the alien species. Does it say here? From the distant world of Karis, Junk, Scrappy of the Junk. Yeah, I really need to give this one another read. I really do. And then, of course, we have next the Doctor Trap. I haven't really read this one because I've not long picked this one up. But yeah, I've got the Doctor's Trap with Ten and Donna. So that is actually the only books I've got for Ten and Donna. I've only got 2. So I've got a load of Martha books and none of Donna, who is my favourite 10th Doctor companion. But there again, though, we are coming towards the end of the 10th Doctor's reign for the BBC books. So the next one I've got is Prisoner of the Daleks. I have read this one. Really quite enjoyed it. I honestly did. It gives me stories like, it gives me flashbacks to the evil of the Daleks. And when you read it, if you have read it, you understand why. But yeah, I actually did quite enjoy it. And this does take place round about the specials. So from the next Doctor up to the end of time, it does take place round about there. So it does have the 10th Doctor travelling on his own. Next one is Judgment of the To-Do. I have read this one. I've had this one for quite a while. I need to give it another decent read. The Eyeless is next. I haven't read this one. I really haven't. I need to give it a decent read. And I'm quite looking forward to diving into it. So you've got The Eyeless. And then the last one I've got for 10 is, of course, the Savine Expedition, something like that. I haven't read this one at all. I mean, the 10th Doctor encountered the Savine. The Savine are one of my favourite villains from Series 1. And of course, I do find them a little bit silly with the farting. But yeah, quite looking forward to giving them a decent read in this book. So that is mainly it for the 10th Doctor. So I need to start making room down here for some other Doctor Who books I've got. Then, of course, diving into the 11th Doctor. So I have got quite a lot of the 11th Doctor adventures. So the first one is Night of the Humans. I actually quite enjoy this story. It really gives me Series 5 vibes. So I do believe this takes place in roundabout Series 5 for head canon. So yeah, I do need to give these another read. Then, of course, we have Apollo 23. A little bit of the the Impossible Astronaut Death the Moon vibes, but it does take place in Series 5, specifically with Matt Smith looking pretty younger there than he does in Series 6. So yeah, I still need to give this one a reread and give it a review. Then, of course, next we have The King's Dragon. Need to give this one a definitely reread. It's been a while since I read these ones. I need to go back and revisit the Matt Smith era on the books. Next, of course, is Nuclear Tie. This really does give me type of Inferno type of vibes. And of course, it does have Rory travelling with them. So it does take place in Series 5 because of the 11th Doctor wearing his original Series 5 jacket that he took from the hospital. So yeah, I do have that one. Then, of course, jumping into the Series 6 variants now for the 11th Doctor Adventures with Touched by an Angel, and this is a Weeping Angel book. I need to give this one a read. I haven't read it. I've not long picked these up, so I still need to visit the 11th Doctor era and the book BBC novelisation. Then of course we have Paradox Lost. Again, need to give this one a decent read. Again, very, very Series 6 vibes. It does give me Series 6 vibes. I love that artwork. I love the demon sort of creature there in the artwork. And then of course we have got Dead of Winter. This is a fantastic, horrifying story. I did read this one months ago, and I need to give it a review. So I need to give it another reread because so I can actually jog my memory what happens in the adventure and basically say what I enjoy from the book. And then of course we have a 2-in-1 which did come with me Doctor Who magazine back in 2011. Dark Riders it's called, and I do need to pick it up. I do recommend it. It is such a fun little read. I picked this up on holiday back when I was in just up by Blackpool. I was on holiday around then, and I need to give it a decent read. I think it's such a good story. I did quite enjoy it. So yeah, I do have that one. And then of course Series 7 vibes now. So we've got 3 books in my collection from Series 7. So we have The Dalek Generation. Such a good, fantastic story read. I still enjoyed it. Absolutely brilliant. Of course, this is the 11th Doctor on his own. So this does take place after he's lost the ponds and just after the snowman, I like to think. And I actually do love the Daleks in this one. I mean, look at that artwork with the Daleks and the Dalek ships, the 11th Doctor looking pretty cool there. Yeah, I love it. I love that artwork. Then, of course, we have a 11th Doctor and Clara book, Swords of Stone. Was it? Yeah, Swords of Sorrow, something like that. Haven't really read this one yet. I still need to go and give it a decent read. I mean, I picked this up from Vintage Book and Collectibles in Shrewsbury. So, yeah, I still need to give this one a decent read. There is another book where basically the 11th Doctor and Clara do encounter the Cybermen again. I still need to try and track that one down and give it a decent read. And then the last Matt Smith book I got. Now, this does take place during the time of the Doctor. And it is, of course, not time of the Doctor. Yeah, the time of the Doctor. The Tales of Trenzalore. So this bit, she has 4 different stories of the 11th Doctor defeating, as we all know, Krynoids, Autons. Then, of course, we have Ice Warriors and, of course, the Mara. So the Mara does return into Doctor Who in basically on Trenzalore. So I still need to give my review on this one because I have read it. Because this is basically the 11th Doctor's last stand. And it's such a great story to hear the 11th Doctor encounter so many iconic villains from the show's past. It is actually quite good. And then, of course, diving into the 12th Doctor books. So this is basically the last lot now for the 12th Doctor. I haven't got I haven't really got no books with the 13th Doctor. So I've literally just got Eccleston, Tennant, Smith, Capaldi, and Whittaker. Not Whittaker, sorry. Mainly it. So then, of course, we have got Soft House, which takes place around about Series 8, with the Doctor re-meeting the Panosta gang after helping them fight the Clockwork Droids in, as we all know, Deep Breath. I did quite enjoy this story. Absolutely brilliant. I need to give it a reread so I can get my review and actual thoughts on it. Next one I have is, of course, The Crawling Terror. A lovely book, and it really just gives you some great horror vibes. I still need to give it a read. Then, of course, we have The Blood Cell. Haven't really read this one yet, but I'm quite looking forward to it. Again, it is Peter Capaldi's Doctor. Then, of course, we have Deep Time next in the collection. I still need to give this one a read. Then, of course, we are diving into Series 9, I think, right, with these books. So, of course, we have Royal Blood. I think this came out around about Series 9 was airing because of the 12th Doctor vibes and Clara's vibes. And then, of course, we have Big Bang Generation. I still need to try and track down the hardcover for this one, but this is the paperback one. Haven't really read this one yet. I haven't really read any of the 11th or 12th Doctor's books. I've literally just seen them and I'm like, oh, I haven't got that one in the collection. I just pick them up. So yeah, I've still got a load of reading to do. And then, of course, we have 2 books from Series 10, which is called Damaged Dogs, which has got the Doctor travelling with Bill in an early adventure from Series 10. Of course, it reminds me so much of literally Jenny Sensitives, the way the horse is literally grabbed on by the little grabber thing. And then, of course, the last one I've got in this range is Plague City, has got, as you can see, Nardole travelling with Bill and the Doctor. So, yeah, I do need to read that. So, that is basically my Doctor Who BBC novelisation book collection. As you can see, I need to try and track down other books. I mean, I am thinking of putting these on display on the shelf with the DVDs behind them. and try and find somewhere for the figures to go, because I'm thinking of putting all my books on display so I can actually go, oh, I need to read that book and pick it up, instead of having these basically inside my wardrobe where they've been for the last couple of months. But if you've got any of these books yourself, let me know in the comments, what did you think of them? And let me know if you would be interested if I literally did a review on these books as well. So when I reread them and basically give these a review, and would you like me to have reviews for them? So basically, let me know what book you were looking forward to seeing a review on. Let me read it, and I'll probably get down to reviewing it if that's what you would like. So thank you for watching this video. Please do like, subscribe and share. And join me for more awesome Doctor Who content. And join me for another Doctor Who collection type video later on, possibly in the next week or so. So thank you for watching. Have a cracking day, you amazing viewers and subscribers.